Oh, we're on. We are absolutely live. So we're on with the Denton County Sheriff's Department, and it is 9:30, so we'll wait a few minutes for everybody to get on. We've only got some viewers who are supposed to get on in a minute, so we'll wait for a few minutes. Let's see, make sure everybody is. And this will be saved on YouTube, so yeah, you guys can use it. Okay, I see 0 viewers. Can y'all see me? Is everybody at work? No, you don't, Amanda. All right, so we're here with the Denton County Sheriff's Department with our first Google Hangout with World Education, and we are here with Charlie Smith and also Deputy Penny Campbell, and then Amanda that is in the background, and she will probably hear a few stories from her. But we are on to talk about social media and the job search, and also safety with the social media, because there's a lot that goes on these days when you're looking for a job. And since we work for World Education and offer all of our career training programs, the whole point is getting a job after you're done with your training. So how can you hurt your chances to get an opportunity to get that great career you love with some of the stuff that you put on social media? So that's why I brought in the experts, although that I am director of social media and marketing, and I do volunteer with Deputy Penny Campbell. I've heard some of the horror stories of some things that have happened on social media with some folks losing different opportunities to be able to get a great job because of some of the things that were found on social media. So I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get into the question and answer.
Sure. Penny, you're the first.
My name is Deputy Penny Campbell. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 12 years. I am the Crime Stopper Coordinator, the Female Juvenile Impact Deputy, and Community Outreach is my official title.
I'm Deputy Charlie Smith. I've been with the county for about 6 years. I've been, or actually, I'm sorry, about 10 years, 6 years as deputy. I'm the Community Outreach Deputy, and I run the Juvenile Impact Program for boys here at the Sheriff's Office.
And then we've got Amanda in the background. Amanda, we can probably hear you, but Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
We're also the division that basically means once you're a part of this organization,
Awesome. So here we are. We're sitting here and talking about this. Our theme for September with World Education is the job search and social media. How to network, how to possibly find opportunities for careers in social media, and there are great opportunities to be able to do that and network. And then there's also things that could possibly happen to keep you from getting that job. So we were talking about a few things, Charlie. You teach.
Yeah. I teach all through high school, junior high, and even 5th grade classes, different classes on drug education and ways to be safe, and what we've even tied in is internet safety as young as 10-year-old children. And we're trying to get them to be safe on the internet, not just putting the information out there at a young age, but also as they get into a little bit older, making sure that they don't ruin their future by some of the things they put out there, because whether it's fair or not in the world, people will judge you on your past behavior. A lot of people, especially employers, are not so forgiving when there's things especially in a video or on the internet, pictures, photographs, or quotes that you said, like if you're on Twitter, for instance, and you talk bad about somebody else. There's a lot of other viable candidates. If 100 people are applying for a job and you have one person that's got a lot of derogatory things that they have on their Twitter account, they have questionable Instagram photos or comments or questionable things on their Facebook page, and then you have somebody that has a very professional Facebook page. It's on LinkedIn, and they don't have a Twitter account where they're talking about somebody back in high school. It's an easy choice for a person that's an employer that's wanting to hire someone.
Right, right. Penny, what have you seen in your years of experience here in the Sheriff's Department and also working with youth that could quite possibly ruin their chances?
As Deputy Smith mentioned, the Facebook accounts, inappropriate pictures, videos, people being tagged with friends that they say they don't hang out with, maybe drug usage or underage drinking or things of that nature, obviously inappropriate pictures. Twitter, everyone thinks, that's a public social media area, but I just try and tell the teens to keep it private so that, it's not access to the public.
Right.
And be aware of what you're posting. So.
One thing, too, is I tell people when I teach is think about the way you're perceived by somebody else and what you put on the internet. And I tell this to adults when I teach parenting classes to watch out for what their kids are doing on the internet, but also to children as well. Look and see what you're putting on the internet and how would it be perceived by someone else. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on Google, but I tell people, if you want to know what people will think about you firsthand, if they've never met you before and they get your name, Google yourself and see what pops up. That's an interesting study to do. I found the first 3, I had photographs that I didn't know were on Google of me. I was accepting an award. Thank God it wasn't anything. It wasn't a Ray Rice video or something. So it was good. But then the fourth one, I found out somebody with my name apparently is dead, and I thought it looked like my obituary. So I was like, it was good to know that I wasn't dead. But that's an interesting study to do to see what pops up first. I just did that in a class yesterday. I was just telling Kelly. It's interesting to see people think their life is so private, but yet they put so much on the internet. I taught a high school class yesterday and asked the teacher before the class came in, I said, who's the most talkative person in this class? And he showed me a seating chart, said this girl right here. Her name is Kinsey. I'm not going to say her last name, but so Kinsey, if you're watching this, I'm used to using your name. So he said, okay, this girl right here, Kinsey. I said, okay. So I took my iPhone 5 minutes before class. I typed in her name, Googled it, Googled her name, popped up 4 or 5 different things. I found out about 6 different things about her. Saw her Facebook page, her Twitter account that she had. But I just used basically some of that information to blow her mind. She walked in. I knew exactly who she was because I saw a picture of her. I knew things about her, like her name, what she did at school, her the fact that she was in a certain sport, what position she played. I told her, do you know where you were on this date last year? And she says, no. And I said, would you be freaked out if I told you I knew where you were that day? Because she was playing a game in Decatur. And so I blew her mind, and I said, guess how I know this? And a lot of people think that they have some kind of NSA database that all cops can go to and find out. You know, we pull up satellite images of their house or whatever. It's simply Googled their name.
Yep.
And the information that they put on Facebook, Twitter, Kick, Instagram, I was going to say MySpace, but nobody does that.
Nobody does
I throw that out there to see if,
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is a
Yeah,
big one.
YouTube.
YouTube is a big one.
there's 9 to 10-year-olds with YouTube channels.
Yes.
So, you know, it's out there for everybody, not just the adults is what we're talking about.
Yeah, you don't have to go hire an FBI investigator to find out the information you need to hire someone
No.
or a background. Usually human resources departments, and even as a hiring manager myself, before I hire somebody and before they even come in for an interview, I Google them, and in my past history, I have found out a lot of things about an individual that I didn't end up hiring them because of what I found out through Google. And this is just these days. I don't even have to go to my HR department and say, hey, I need to do a background check to see if this is true. It'll go all the way back into if you graduated from a college or university, if you graduated from this high school. I mean, it's all out there for the world to see. So we have to be so very careful about what we put out there because we want to be a professional in a certain industry. We could really ruin our chances. And we were talking to Amanda earlier. She has a friend of hers that works in a nursing home or an assisted living home, and she's an HR director. And she came to me and she said, how do I find out if these folks have left one spot because they hurt an elderly person and they're coming to me for another job? And I don't want to hire those types of people. And we talk about references and making sure that we get references from past companies. And then we can even call past companies and ask, did they leave with good standing? The HR department can say yes or no.
That's basically all they can say.
That's all they can say.
Are they rehireable? Yes
Are they-
or no.
Mhm.
That's all they legally. That's as much as they can say.
Yep.
It's yes or no.
And so what's left is, since the HR can only say yes, they were here for this certain amount of time.
Yes.
The prospective employer is left to their own devices to look to see what kind of person that they're gonna hire. And so they're going to look through perception, through what you put out there, how you market yourself. And it's basically how you market yourself. If you market yourself as somebody that's a partier, somebody that's carefree, that doesn't take anything serious, if you associate with people that maybe are in some aspect of the world that's, like a gang member, you associate with gang members, people are going to think that you're a gang member, whether you join the gang or not. If you dress like and you look like it, it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck, right?
Yeah.
And so I've personally interviewed and did backgrounds on people that apply for jobs in law enforcement, and they may be serious at the time. They do want a job in law enforcement. They want to come on. They want to get started in this field. But yet, things they've done in the past, especially on the internet, especially on their Facebook, things like that, where it's really going to be derogatory. If you've got 25 pictures of you passed out drunk on your Facebook page at different locations or parties and kick stands, that's not someone that's going to represent my employer very well. So you're not going to get hired. If you're just acting crazy, if you've got pictures of pot plants, I'm telling you this for a reason. People will actually have pictures of drug paraphernalia or people using. They take the photographs of the bong sitting on the table.
Yeah, Amanda's shaking her head.
Yeah.
She's seen it.
People, if you're going to take selfies, everybody loves the selfies, but they focus on how I look right now. They don't they don't think about what's behind them in the back of the picture. You might have a great Facebook, you might have a great LinkedIn account, you think you're professional, but pay attention to what's in the picture, because I, as an employer, will be doing that as well. I'm going to see if your house looks like it needs to be demolished because you haven't cleaned it in 4 months. Or if there's like I said, if there's a bomb sitting on the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In law enforcement, we call that a clue. I don't know. That's something to think about.
It is something to think about. Well, and on my end, my hobby is bodybuilding, and I compete. And before I got into a previous job, I was interviewing for an opportunity to work here locally as a marketing director for a company, for a title company. And they decided not to hire me because I compete, and there are modeling photos out there of me in a bikini. So they decided not to hire me just on that basis.
That is so weird because the same thing happened to
Same
me.
thing happened to you, Charlie.
Yeah.
So even if you have the most professional Facebook page and you have a fan page that's with bodybuilding, it's a very focused and a very, a good hobby, a healthy hobby. You can still get ridiculed by anybody, and it is up to them if they want to hire you or not, based upon what they see. So I just want to let everybody know that they need to be careful. And so we've got probably about 14 minutes left. So we're moving from the career side of the house to something that's really near and dear to our hearts when we take care of the Impact Program, all of us, on Monday and Wednesday nights, the girls and the boys. And Deputy Campbell has an article from a man out of Fort Worth about the 7 most dangerous apps for your kiddos. Or is it a lady?
Yes.
It's a lady out of Fort Worth. It's 7 most dangerous apps that parents need to know about. And I think that this needs to be a really, really important kind of closeout on this message. Because these are apps that your children can come in contact with what we call predators. And you guys have to be so careful and watch what your children are doing 24/7 when they're on that phone. You pay for the bill. You are allowed to have access to that phone. So one of them is, I've never heard of this one, Yik Yak.
A lot of them
I've
parents
never
are
heard of them.
not aware of,
Mm-hmm.
but then some of them, they are, of course, so what's Yik Yak, Kick is the other
Kick.
one. A lot of parents have heard of Kick, and they're like, oh, my child has that on their phone.
No.
And it's just like instant messaging,
Mhm.
but it's also video
And pictures.
and pictures, and it's a one that kids can meet anonymous
Mm-hmm.
people that they're not sure who they are. They don't know. They think they may be they're the same age when it could be someone Deputy Smith's age or someone my age, and so you don't know who they're talking to. So it's just like giving your child keys to your car. You're not going to say, here's the keys, go drive.
Right.
I never did this with my kids. Here, let me teach you how to use the phone.
Right.
I taught them how to dial 911
Right.
when they were 10 and got cell phones.
Right.
I never taught them the proper way to download apps or what not to download because they didn't have this,
Right.
10 years ago. My boys are 20 now,
Mhm.
and so in my class, I try and teach them, you need to teach them how to use the cell phones now and what's
appropriate. and what's not.
appropriate and what's not, and to keep looking at their cell phones. All these kids have lock codes on their phones now. Most parents don't have the lock codes. Know the lock code because they're not talking on their phones
They're
anymore.
texting.
They're texting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of information these parents can find out on these kids' cell phones. And a lot of these apps are on their phones that these parents don't have any clue as to what they're
doing on them.
So one of those is Kick, another one is the Yik Yak,
The Snapchat.
Snapchat. Teenagers think that Snapchat, these pictures are going to go away.
No, they don't. And again, ruin your career future.
Yes, ruin your career future because one of the issues that we have now is sexting.
Right.
And kids don't understand that anyone under the age of 18, if they have pornographic pictures, which is
Illegal.
nude pictures, nude pictures, they think anything, they're taking a little selfie and sending it to their friends, but it's oh, it's just, I'm just sending it to my boyfriend. No, it's pornographic photos. And
Manufacturer of child pornography.
And if that boy gets caught with her picture on his phone, he gets filed as a
Pedophile.
pedophile. And that's on his record.
Registered sex offender, it's a felony, and it's for life.
Ruins your career. I mean, so here we are. We're talking about making sure parents, if a lot of parents are on there, so we're talking about how you could ruin your career with your social media, but how you have to watch your kiddos.
yes,
Because their future is at stake with all of these apps and all the social media stuff that's out there.
right.
And one thing too, it's we're telling you to keep track of what's on your kid's phone, but it's work because every 6 months a new app comes out where they have apps that are really geared towards predators using that app to meet young people. Well, then that app goes out of business, but then 2 more come in its place. So you need to keep an eye on what's on your kids' phones, what apps they have, what their logins are, so that you can see their history. Now, you might think, well, I don't want to invade their privacy. I want their trust. But
Right, to-
Have the right to invade privacy.
they have no expectation of privacy because you are the adult. You're in charge. They have to worry about gaining your trust, and that's what you should worry about. And so you're the mature adult that knows the far off consequences of some of their choices, because these kids don't always correlate choices that they make with consequences.
Right.
And the consequences they make, or the choices they make now, have consequences that can last a lifetime or be extremely detrimental.
Which falls back to the social
To the
media.
social media in your career.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just keeping them safe. So in all reality, guys, it's a really great article, and we always talk at our impact program for the parents to be involved and be aware and notice signs of your kiddos of cyberbullying, or quite possibly someone contacting them through these apps that may be a little bit older, skipping school. I mean, all these different things that could possibly happen to your kiddos that could possibly ruin their opportunities to get a great career later on. Because my job, I know, is to get my son an education so he can get out of the house and I don't have to pay for him anymore. So, and that should be the goal. Not that I don't love my child, but I need to make sure that he's going to be safe and that he has those opportunities.
You can love them away from
I can love him away from
yeah,
home.
Yeah.
And then we also talked to I know we have a lot of military spouses out there as well that take a lot of our courses at World Education. And she had at one point a military spouse that wanted to come work for the sheriff's department. And she sent her husband some pictures when he was deployed because he was missing her. And her email was hacked into. And now her pictures are on some site that unsightly site. And she has a difficult time getting them off because she has to go through a lot of hoops and a lot of probably paperwork and signing and sending in her driver's license and everything because her email was hacked into. So we just saw this a couple of weeks ago with these movie stars that got their iCloud accounts hacked into. Well, these movie stars, they'll get a lot of publicity and they'll get a lot of spot on TV and get noticed and all that kind of stuff, and that's what they want. But us in the private sector, we don't want any of that stuff because it can keep us from a career or even get us fired from our current job as well.
Right.
Because all of these companies have an image to uphold.
Right.
And they want to uphold that image, and they look at all of their employees as that image. And if they don't see you fitting into that image, they're going to give you the boot.
Well, one thing I definitely want to address, one thing, because I know we're almost out of time, but just personal safety. Because you can't have a future if you're not alive.
Right.
There's a lot of things that people will put that's not really should be on the internet. Too much information. It's like it boils down to marketing yourself again. You don't need to have pictures of your houses, or if you're taking pictures, make sure that the street address is not out there. Make sure that your location device is turned off, so when you take photographs, your GPS is not sending coordinates with that picture to your Facebook. So if you send a picture of your room, look how great I decorated my room, or look at this poster on the wall, you know, and you put it on your Facebook account, you're sending GPS coordinates, if you have your GPS location turned on your phone, to act exactly where your house is. So these young people that do this, they don't realize they're telling everybody, especially with some of these apps like Instagram. They're taking photographs. There's actually a map that shows you exactly where you're taking these photographs. So now people know where you live. They know where you go to school. They know where you're at. They know where you hang out. They know what it looks like for one. So they know.
Schedule.
Yeah, they have a photograph of you. Now they know exactly. And this is what I run down in the classes. If you have a bunch of pictures on Facebook, and I tell this to seventh graders. Seventh graders, a lot of them have Facebook or other social media. Say they're at Ponder Junior High or Sanger Elementary, Sanger sixth grade, and that's on their profile picture. Well, all you have to do is get online, Sanger sixth grade, and you can figure out that it's the first pop-up it's going to be is their school. Then you go to the school website. Okay, this person's in volleyball because they got a volleyball shirt on. Now I know the practice times. I know what school starts, school's over. I know when
All the games are?
all the games are. I know where the practices are. And now I know what you look like, so I know the address of the school. I can go up there and wait for you.
Yep.
That's how much information is put out there with just a few pictures. And so it's
We're done.
okay.
It stopped. It didn't stop. Yep, we're done.
Okay.
I don't know why it stopped. Yay! Oh, it's back now. Okay, she says it stopped. All right, so we stopped for a second, and now we're back.
Okay. So, but it just goes to show you that a few pictures out there with somebody that really wants to know some information about you, it's very easy to get. So don't make it easy for people. Be safe out there.
Yep, and there are privacy settings that you can set to where only your friends can see your post and your pictures. Only close friends can see your post and your pictures.
And that's it, Kelly.
That's it.
Only your friends
Only your
know
friends.
who your friends are on Facebook.
Don't accept everybody to be your friend. People can follow you on your Facebook page, but don't accept every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be your friend.
Right.
If you don't know them, say not now, and
Right.
they're not your friends. So just be very careful out there, and we thank everybody who joined us on our first Google Hangout, and I want to thank so much
Thank you for having us.
the Denton County Sheriff's Department and Amanda in the background to help me really get out a subject that's near and dear to our hearts and my heart. I love social media. I make a living of it, but we have to be very careful
Yes.
when we use it and use it wisely. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And if you missed our Google Hangout, we will have this on our YouTube page and my YouTube page for all to see, so you can review this. Y'all have an amazing Friday and happy weekend. Take care, guys.
Thank you.